Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Campo and welcome back to my channel. And on today's video, I'm going to be discussing my two new rank 3 6 stars with a little bit of gameplay and explanation of why I ranked these two. And let's get right to it. First of all, we have Tigra. And if you have been following my channel, you know that after Summer of Pain, I opened about 7 basic crystals and she came out in the very last crystal, kind of saved the opening. And I've been sitting on some Mystic Tier 5 class catalysts and had sort of told myself that if I pulled Tigra or Clairvoyant, either of them would go straight to rank 3 unduped. I do think that Tigra's duped ability does matter, and it can certainly help fights go a lot faster and in certain situations really save the fight for you. But the thing is, it does kind of need a high signature level. And I don't see myself, even if I got her to Sig 20, having a ton of stones to use on her anyway. So I figured I would just get her up now. And then, you know, if I do dupe her in the future, that would be very nice. But essentially, you just have to throw a couple extra special ones, which, you know, sometimes you have to do anyway when you fight as Tigra. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about this. I think this is going to help me continue to learn her. I've already used my 5-star max Sig one pretty often, including in the Grandmaster's Gauntlet. She made an appearance. So I'm really excited to have this 6-star all the way ranked up. And then the second one is Ultron. And this one was a little bit of a harder decision. I was really on the fence between War Machine and Ultron. And I think what eventually got me to go toward Ultron is the double immunities and the damage that he has. Because War Machine definitely has his niche matchups. We're seeing more and more mutants that have prowess buffs and passives, which his special one can completely get rid of. You know, coming to mind is Bishop as well as Kitty Pryde, who are going to be some annoying defenders. And then, of course, his pre-fights are very, very good. I just kind of decided I would have a little bit more fun. I think Ultron may not have as much utility, it's debatable, but he does have the damage and just sort of like a general quester that has regen and immunities and high damage and access to damage over time. I just think he's a great champion and he's probably the better of those two. But it's definitely debatable. They both have their ups and downs. So anyway, I'm going to show a little bit of gameplay, a little bit less Tigra, because I just feel like there's so many better Tigra players out there. So I'm just going to start this clip right about now. And this is going to be Act 6, the final quest, which is the Grandmaster quest. And I'm going to be testing out my Tigra on this first fight on what at the time was one of the more difficult lanes. I should go pick up that level 1 revive, by the way, but I'll do that later. So this fight has rage and it also has life cycle. And the reason that Tigra is so good for it is because her neutralized passive is going to stop any form of rage. Not to mention that most of her damage is sort of like red numbers. So she may not even trigger rage in the first place, but we do have neutralize up. She can phase the level 1, and if you kind of release it with that timing, he'll usually turtle up and you can get into him. So again, we're phasing, we wait like a split second and we throw it, and that seems to almost always work against Cable. At least in this fight it did. Spamming heavies against the corner. And the other thing about this fight is that it does have life cycle, and Tigra is great for that because she's going to be like constantly knocking him down and triggering the life cycle, making it a little bit easier at the end. So we missed again, and this little pro tip, you can, you know, if you're not sure of your spacing, you can release your heavy and then immediately throw a special attack, which is always going to connect. So yeah, we're in pretty good shape here. The ruptures and the direct damage is doing a lot. We're in the purple phase of the life cycle. So I'm just kind of hoping that I will have one of those magical endings with life cycle where the ruptures or the red damage or something is going to stop it. Now the despair mastery essentially stopped him from regenning at all. That's another little hidden piece of utility for Tigra, is I had like 12 ruptures, which was going to block his healing, and therefore he was able to go down pretty easily. So yeah, I think that fight is a great showcase of Tigra. And for the rest of the video, we're going to move on to Ultron. So one of the reasons I really debated, Ultron or War Machine was Bishop. Because he is coming into the contest as an annoying defender. So I'm going to fight this Bishop from the Cav EQ 2 times. The first time I'm going to fight him as I would try to fight him like in War, which is basically push him to special 2s and bait the special 2s. I think in general, that's the best way to fight him. So we're building up our functions. We got one of the evades. He's at a special 2. We're trying to bait this thing out because you basically don't want him to be throwing the special 1. It's much harder to evade, and it also puts up the incineration aura. So as you saw there, I barely took any damage even with that blocked hit because I have the energy resistance, I believe, and also he's just a very tanky champion. So we're going to throw the special 2, which gives us a nice fury buff. The way I'm baiting is I'm just kind of letting the first hit touch my block because it's not unblockable, and then swiping back. It's a very safe way to do it if you can't fully evade. So we throw that to get the stun function, and again we're pushing him to 2 bars. I'm doing plenty of damage now. We got another nice evade there, and he's going to pretty much go down in the next combo or so. We didn't have to bait any special 1s. So yeah, that is sort of like a pretty standard Bishop fight, and Ultron did great. Now I am going to go back into this quest, and we're going to basically do, hey, look at that, I got my objective done. I'm not paying attention to those objectives at all. Like, I have no interest, but they'll get done. They'll get done. We're going to go back in. And, Ghost is only there because I took the first fight with her just to speed it up. Now, in this fight, I'm going to purposefully only bait L1s, which, will happen occasionally. Like, you may not want to, but he will throw it. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to kind of show when the Incinerates go on Ultron how much his signature ability at Sig 40 is going to be mitigating the duration of these Incinerates. So I got a little bit of help from the evade, but then got hit at the end. But because of my energy damage, ability to regen that, I actually didn't take much damage at all from that special 1. As you can see, these Incinerates are not lasting long at all. And once again, this is only a Sig 40. They're only lasting for a couple seconds, and yes, they are doing damage, but I do have the regen at my disposal. So once again, that evade sort of timed out at the right time. I'm going to throw this special 2. And I will do a quick plug. If you want to check out Vega's channel, he's definitely a big friend of this channel, and we're a big friend of his channel. He has a more in-depth analysis of the Sig of Ultron and whether it matters if it's max Sig or only Sig 40. Our regen comes in. I'm going to link that video of Vega's in because it goes into much more detail than I'm doing right now. But as you can see, the Sig 40 Ultron that I have was doing pretty well in that fight. And, I don't think it would have been a problem even if the fight lasted like twice as long, because I have the 2 regens, and, that would have saved it, plus the energy mitigation and the lesser duration of the Incinerates. So now I'm moving to 3 fights in Act 7. I picked this lane in 7.2 because there aren't too many nodes. Like, it's basically... you have to throw your special 2 like as soon as you get it, otherwise you lose power, and they have unblockable specials. So I'm just doing these to kind of showcase, like, against like a solid amount of health, how his rotation kind of works. So I'm going to throw the special 1, which gives a stun, and then I'm going to throw my heavy, which does the function damage. In this case, it's bleed. So we are at 5 total functions. I get the evade there, so that's 6 total functions. I lost my special 2 there, but that's okay because I actually want to build to a special 2 when my function damage cooldown, that little fist, is done. We get a nice intercept there. His specials are very easy to bait, so the unblockable specials are not a big deal. You do need to just be a little worried about that passive evade because it will sometimes throw you off. So it's just one more thing to pay attention to, not the end of the world. So we got the special 2 off, we get the little damage bonus, and then we throw a heavy attack and we get all those stacks of bleeds. They're ticking for over 2,000. It's going great. We still have, now we have 2 attack bonuses on us from the special 1. That's because I'm running the Hulkbuster synergy, which is going to increase our damage. So yeah, things are going very well here. Just for sort of like your run-of-the-mill Act 7 fight, I've barely lost any health, even though I had class disadvantage. And yeah, again, I'm just doing this lane to kind of show how smooth he plays. Because there really isn't too much at all to build his functions. You're just going to be comboing and throwing special attacks. And yeah, it's not too bad at all. So I already mentioned the Hulkbuster synergy, which is going to allow us to get basically off of our special 1 that additional damage sort of fury increase. I brought War Machine just to pop on a skirmish boost, which is going to increase our attack and the duration of our debuffs, just to kind of compare and contrast to see if, you know, this fight's going to go down a little bit faster with the extended debuff duration and more attack. So we're going to try to bait some special 1s here. We've built the 3 easiest functions so far, which is like the armor and the guaranteed crit and the function damage, which is the bleed. We just threw a special 1 to get the stun, and we just threw another heavy. I don't think we've gotten an evade yet, so that would be the 6th one that we need to get. So I may try to get an evade. I don't exactly remember how I did this. It's a little tricky and a little dangerous to rely on that evade happening. So I'm trying to get the special 2 off now before my power gets drained. There's the evade. So that was sort of a little next level strat. I let the evade push me back, and then I threw the special 2 so that I could get 6 function damages. And now he's just ticking away with those bleeds. I have extended duration on the bleeds because of the War Machine pre-fight. And man, he's hitting pretty darn hard now. Now we've got 2 of the Fury boosts from that Hulkbuster synergy again when we threw the special 1. We haven't had to bait any special 2s yet, so the fight's really in control. That passive evade kind of surprised me. That's kind of what I'm talking about with it not always being to your benefit. You just have to always sort of be aware of it. Bait another special 1. Here we go. We're over 50 hits now, and he only has 30% left. There we go. Another big special 2. We get our damage bonus, and I should be able to land a heavy attack. I whiffed there for some reason. Big heavy attack, and we spam it in the corner. It's ticking for over 3,000 now, probably because we're in assassin's range, and this fight's going to go down in about 73 hits. So yeah, very, very smooth gameplay there. And I will say, I've talked about this on my channel before. I try to do these in as few takes as possible. I don't want to be the kind of YouTuber that goes in, you know, like 30 times to get like the absolute perfect fight. So I only took these first 3. I thought the Havok would be a good matchup. I wanted to see if I was able to keep an armor up for the entire fight. And I did not put any of the pre-fights on from War Machine here. I could have done the energy resistance one potentially, which would only continue to add to my energy resistance that I already have. So as you've seen in these longer fights, I am throwing the special 1 first. Of note is that I am avoiding the special 3 because I believe it's currently bugged. So I didn't want to be giving you guys any false information, but you know, if they do fix that bug and it works as intended, where you don't get this like massive permanent damage increase, you could also weave in a special 3. It gets a guaranteed stun, and yeah. So another thing to notice here is that our bleeds are turning into degenerations because we're fighting a mutant. Nothing really too important about that except for Havok. It is probably better to be degenerating him. Yeah, so he's going down pretty fast, and the armor uptime has been pretty easy. Like, I haven't had to actively think about like, oh no, I need to parry in order to get this you know, this armor up back. So we did the thing with the Hulkbuster synergy where we got the 2 Furies again, but because we have to bait this special, we didn't get a lot of damage off there. I wish it could have been a little bit more. So our function damage is about to come back. Our evade has come back. It's just kind of a little bit of stuff that you have to pay attention to, but it's not too bad. We get off another big special 2. I'm going to try to land a heavy, but the evade kind of screws me there. Nice heavy counter there. Again, we're ticking for almost 2,000, not quite as much as the last fight for one reason or another. But yeah, the degen is definitely doing some work. Here we go. We get in after that stun, push him to a special 2. Once again, we have over 3 armor up still, so it's absolutely no problem with these plasma detonates. He's truly a great Havok counter, as we're seeing here. We're going to bait a special 2. And I think, do I throw a special 1? I think I throw a special 1 here. And this could be close to the end. That heal block is also from the Hulkbuster synergy, by the way, if you want to read up on that. But yeah, so that's Ultron in a nutshell. I just find he's really smooth to play. He's really tanky. He has those emergency regens on him. And overall, I'm really enjoying him as my latest rank 3 along with Tigra. So anyway, hope that you guys enjoyed a little bit of discussion and gameplay today. And I will catch you guys in the next one.